All rights to the characters and storyline of Fruits Basket belong solely to its creators and copyright holders. This text is a fan-created interpretation and does not claim any ownership or official affiliation with creators or distributors of Fruits Basket. All references to the characters and their development are based on the original work and are intended solely for entertainment and discussion purposes. You Don't Go to Parties, Chapter 5. Friday morning, the kitchen was filled with the smell of sizzling bacon and the soft clinking of cutlery as Tohru, Kyo, Yuki, and Shigure gathered around the breakfast table. Tohru was practically bouncing in her seat, her eyes sparkling with excitement. Kyo glanced over at her with a smirk, shaking his head. "Tohru, could you please sit still for just a second? You're making the table shake." "Oh, I'm sorry," Tohru said, trying to steady herself, but her excitement still barely contained. "I'm just really looking forward to tonight." Yuki, observing with an amused expression, raised an eyebrow. "Tonight? What's happening tonight that has you so animated?" Shigure, always eager for a bit of a gossip or mischief, leaned in with a curious smile. "Yes, do tell. What's the big deal?" Tohru's smile widened even further. I'm just excited for tonight's activities." Kyo chuckled, clearly amused but also puzzled. "Arts and crafts? I don't get how that's so thrilling." Tohru's face briefly showed confusion before she quickly masked it with a bright smile. "Oh right, crafts. I'm just really looking forward to it." Kyo's eyes narrowed slightly, sensing something amiss. He raised an eyebrow and fixed her with a curious look. Tohru's heart raced. She forced herself to meet his gaze, hoping to maintain her composure. "Crafts! I can't wait!" Yuki and Shigure exchanged glances but said nothing, though their expressions were tinged with amusement. Kyo, however, seemed unconvinced, which made Tohru increasingly anxious. Yuki decided to probe a little further. "So what kinds of crafts are you planning on making?" Tohru's mind went blank for a split second. She scrambled to come up with a believable answer. Sock puppets," she blurted out, her voice lacking its usual confidence. Shigure burst into laughter, his eyes twinkling with mirth. "Sock puppets, huh? That sounds like fun." Yuki smiled, clearly amused by the answer. Kyo's expression remained skeptical as he looked at Tohru, his gaze questioning. "Sock puppets? That's quite specific. Are you sure that's all you're doing?" Tohru's cheeks flushed slightly under his intense scrutiny. She nodded vigorously, though her anxiety was palpable. "Yes, that's it. Sock puppets." Eventually, Kyo shrugged and returned to his breakfast, though he continued to cast occasional curious glances at Tohru. She let out a quiet sigh of relief, grateful that he seemed to have accepted her explanation for now. The rest of breakfast passed in a blur of anticipation for Tohru. She tried her best to focus on her food and the conversation around her, but her thoughts were preoccupied with the evening's plans. As the morning wore on and the school day approached, Tohru's excitement mingled with a sense of dread about the long day ahead. She knew she'd have to maintain her cover and keep her excitement under wraps until she could finally enjoy the night she'd been looking forward to. The bell rang, signaling the start of the school day, and Tohru gathered her things, feeling a mix of relief and nervous anticipation. It was going to be a long day, but she was determined to make it through, knowing that tonight would be worth it. Kyo's day had been fraught with confusion, and it seemed to be intensifying. Tohru's odd behavior had him on edge. During their walk to school, she had been unusually silent, only responding to direct questions from him or Yuki. Kyo couldn't help but feel a growing concern as he glanced at her from time to time, noticing how distracted she seemed. When they reached school, Tohru quickly joined her friends, Utani and Hanajima. They huddled together, their voices low and muffled, as if they were sharing some important secret. Kyo watched from a distance, his frustration mounting. At lunchtime, the tension was palpable. Tohru sat at the lunch table with Utani and Hanajima, rarely speaking to Kyo. When he tried to join the conversation, she offered only brief responses before turning her attention back to her friends. Hiroshi and Yuzuki, sitting nearby, exchanged worried glances. "Hey Kyo, what's up with Honda?" Hiroshi finally asked, his concern evident. Kyo sighed heavily, running a hand through his hair. "I don't know. She's been acting really strange all morning. It's like she's hiding something." Yuzuki leaned closer, eyebrows furrowing. "Did something happen between you two?" Kyo shook his head. "The only change is that she got a new dress. I told her she looked beautiful like always." Hiroshi and Yuzuki exchanged amused looks before Hiroshi teased. "Sounds like you did the right thing. Maybe she's just in a mood." Kyo rolled his eyes, clearly frustrated. "Yeah, maybe, but it feels like she's hiding something from me." Hiroshi and Yuzuki's expressions grew more serious. They exchanged a glance before Hiroshi hesitantly asked, "Is there a chance she could be cheating on you?" Kyo's eyes widened in shock. "What? No way. Tohru would never do that." Not after everything we've been through. Kyo felt a knot of anxiety in his stomach. The two friends looked sympathetic, but unconvinced. Well, if you say so, Yuzuki said, but it might be worth keeping an eye out. Kyo felt a knot of anxiety in his stomach, and as the day dragged on, he couldn't shake the feeling of unease. Was Tohru unhappy and he had missed the signs? During the final break, Tohru went to the bathroom. Seizing the opportunity, Kyo approached Uotani and Hanajima, who were standing in the hallway. Hey, can I ask you guys something? Kyo said, his voice tinged with worry. They looked up intrigued. Sure, what's up? Kyo took a deep breath, trying to steady himself. Is Tohru cheating on me? Uotani and Hanajima exchanged startled looks before bursting into laughter. Kyo's heart sank as he watched their reaction. What's so funny? He asked, feeling a mix of frustration and confusion. Uotani wiped a tear from her eye, her laughter subsiding. Kyo, you give Tohru way too much credit. She wouldn't even know how to cheat, even if she wanted to. Hanajima nodded, still chuckling, and she doesn't want to cheat. You know her. She's as honest as they come. Kyo felt a wave of relief, but remained unsettled. Then why is she acting so weird? Uotani glanced around, making sure no one was listening. We promise not to say anything, but you shouldn't stress about it. It's nothing bad, I promise. Before Kyo could ask for more details, Tohru returned from the bathroom, her face showing concern. What's going on? She asked, noticing Kyo's tense demeanor. Kyo muttered, nothing. Don't worry about it, before turning to walk away. Tohru's brows furrowed as she watched him leave. Kyo, wait! She called out, but he was already heading down the hallway. She frowned, feeling a pang of worry and confusion. As Kyo walked away, the weight of the day's events pressed heavily on him. He hoped that whatever was causing Tohru's strange behavior would soon be revealed, and that their evening together would provide some clarity. The cold silence between Tohru and Kyo was almost palpable as they walked home together. Tohru had noticed the change in Kyo's demeanor since lunch, and the weight of his silence was beginning to take its toll. She decided to break the silence, her voice gentle but tinged with concern. Kyo, she said softly, glancing at him. Is everything okay? Kyo kept his eyes straight ahead, his jaw set in a tight line. After a moment's pause, he finally responded, his voice low and uncertain. I don't know. Is everything okay with you? His tone was accusatory, and Tohru's heart skipped a beat. The tension between them was thick, and she felt a pang of anxiety. Kyo, she started, but her voice faltered. Kyo stopped, walking abruptly, his fist clenched tightly at his side. He turned to face her, and Tohru was taken back by the storm of emotions raging in his eyes. There was confusion, hurt, and something else, something she couldn't quite place. Have I done something to upset you? Kyo asked, his voice cracking slightly. He was struggling to keep his composure. Tohru took a deep breath, her mind racing. No, Kyo, she said gently. You haven't done anything. It's just, I've had a lot on my mind today. Kyo's gaze dropped to the ground, his shoulders sagging slightly as he tried to hide his feelings. Why have you been acting so strange today? He asked quietly, his voice almost pleading. Tohru felt a surge of guilt and sadness. She reached out and took his hand, feeling the warmth and strength of his grip. Kyo looked down at her, his eyes softening slightly. I'm sorry, she said, her voice filled with sincerity. I didn't mean to make you worry. I've just been preoccupied with some things. Kyo sighed, the tension in his body easing as he pulled her into a comforting hug. I'm sorry for getting so worked up, he murmured into her hair. I didn't know what was going on with you. Tohru hugged him back, tightly, feeling a wave of relief. Kyo, if you want me to stay home this evening, I will, she offered earnestly. She genuinely cared about his feelings and was willing to give up her plans if it meant making him feel better. Kyo pulled back slightly, looking at her with a mixture of gratitude and affection. No, you deserve to have fun with your friends, he said, his voice softening. You've been looking forward to it. I don't want to be the reason you miss out. Tohru's eyes brightened with appreciation, though a hint of concern lingered. What about you? What will you do while I'm out? Kyo shrugged, a small smile, tugging at his lips. I might just enjoy the peace and quiet. It's not often I get to have some time to myself. They walked the rest of the way home, hand in hand, the earlier tension melting away with each step. Tohru felt a renewed sense of comfort in Kyo's presence, and Kyo, despite his lingering worries, found solace in her warmth and kindness. As they reached their home, the weight of the day seemed to lift, replaced by a gentle understanding between them. Later, Kyo was stretched out in the koatsu, flipping through TV channels with a remote in his hand. The soft glow of the television and the warmth of the koatsu provided a comforting cocoon against the chilly autumn evening. Shigure was seated next to him, absorbed in typing away at his manuscript. Despite Shigure's frequent claims of quitting novel writing, the sight of him working was not unusual. A sudden thump caught Kyo's attention. He turned to see Tohru standing in the hallway, looking casual yet adorable in her jeans and a t-shirt and a zip-up hoodie. Her hair was styled into cute pigtails, making her look extra endearing. Kyo's mood lightened immediately, his early anxieties fading. "Hey," Kyo greeted warmly as he walked over to her. "You heading out now?" Tohru looked up at him, her cheeks slightly pink. "Yes." Kyo's eyes were drawn to the backpack slung over her shoulder. "Are you spending the night?" Tohru shook her head with a gentle laugh. "No, it's just we decided to do makeovers tonight." Kyo raised an eyebrow, puzzled. "I thought you guys were planning crafts and movies." Tohru's smile widened and she gave a playful shrug. "Well, we're girls. We tend to change our minds about plans." Kyo nodded, still not entirely convinced, but willing to trust her. He helped her into her coat, his fingers brushing slightly against her arm. "All right, be safe out there, okay?" Tohru looked up at him with a warm smile. "I will. See you later." Kyo watched as she walked away, feeling a mix of pride and lingering concern. Once the door closed behind her, he sighed deeply and ran a hand through his hair, trying to shake off his uneasy feeling. Returning to the Kwatsu, he sank back down with a resigned sigh. Shigure, who had been quietly observing, turned to him with a raised eyebrow. "Where's she off to?" Shigure asked, finding casual interest. Kyo, trying to focus on the TV, answered distractedly. "She's going to a friend's house." Shigure hummed thoughtfully, turning back to his manuscript. "And what are you planning to do tonight?" Kyo shrugged, trying to seem nonchalant. "Probably just stay in and watch TV." Shigure's gaze remained fixed on his work. There was a curious tone in his voice. "Are you sure she's just going to a friend's house?" Kyo frowned, irritation creeping into his voice. Where else would she be going? Shigure's eyes narrowed slightly, his expression unreadable. "Just wondering. You know how it is. Who knows what girls do when they're alone?" Kyo's patience snapped. "What's that supposed to mean? What are you getting at?" Shigure's face turned icy as he looked at Kyo with a cold smile. "How well do you really know Tohru?" Kyo's face flushed with anger. He stood up abruptly, his fist clenched. "Shigure, stop messing around and tell me what's going on." Shigure's smile widened as he reached into his pocket, pulling out a receipt. He handed it to Kyo, who stared at it in confusion. The receipt was from a dress shop known for its risque outfits. Kyo's heart sank as he looked at the receipt. What's this supposed to mean? Shigure's gaze was unwavering. "Has Tohru ever shown you anything from this place before?" Kyo's mind raced as he recalled the incident earlier in the week, the dress Tohru had hidden, and her strange behavior. He realized with a sinking feeling that Tohru had never shown him anything like this. The dots connected in his mind, and he felt a painful realization settle in. Kyo's voice trembled with a mix of rage and heartbreak. "You don't know anything about her. Just stay out of it." He turned on his heel and stormed up the stairs, his heart pounding with anguish. He slammed the door to his bedroom and began to pace frantically, his thoughts in turmoil. After a few minutes of restless pacing, he grabbed his phone and mumbled to find Hiroshi's contact. With shaky fingers, he typed a message. "I'll go." He hit send, feeling a mix of determination and desperation. He needed answers, and to confront the situation head-on. As he waited for Hiroshi's response, Kyo's mind was consumed by worry and confusion, struggling to reconcile the Tohru he knew with the unsettling possibilities that had surfaced. Hi, my name is Angel, and I hope you like this. If you did, please give it a like and subscribe. And if you want to hear more, check out my website. Or if you want my books in an easier to read format, check out my Wattpad. I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye.